Welcome to another episode of Comedy, Luxembourg's finest metal podcast. My name is Jill, I'm your host for today. Usually there's two of us, and usually we don't speak in English, but we stick to our native tongue, which is Luxembourgish. And so for all of you newcomers out there who are finally able to listen to us, welcome to the show. And all you regulars out there, thanks for switching the language. I mean, we as Luxembourgers and most of our listeners are able to understand both. But why am I doing this? Basically, we thought a while back that we should go a bit more international with what we do. So again, for those out there who don't know what we do, Comedy is a metal podcast based in Luxembourg. We speak in our native tongue usually, and basically Comedy is a story of two friends who decided in that horrible year of 2020 that we were quite bored, let's say, with our free time. We didn't know what to do. Corona and COVID-19 was the word of that year and of the basically the 2 years that followed, and we decided to do something different, and we started this podcast focusing on metal music, and we are still there. We are still doing good. We are over 60 episodes in, mainly in Luxembourgish, but who knows? I mean, this will probably change over the following years because we are still here and we are still as motivated and as enthusiastic as ever towards metal music, towards you guys out there who are basically the reason why we are doing this. And before we start the episode, I just wanted to give a small introduction, basically, of what we are, basically what we do, basically. And we try to focus on our local metal scene, which is pretty important to us. It's the stuff that we've been growing up to, as well as obviously all the international stars which are all known. I'm not just saying a few names like Slayer, Metallica, or some Opeth, or some even black metal bands. So we are open for everything that is hard and heavy. And we talked about several things, genres, different aspects over the last 60 episode ends. And we have this series going on where we talk about one particular band and their history. Sometimes good, sometimes not as good. It really depends on the case. Today, basically, what I'm doing is I will be talking about a band that has been growing, in my opinion, and is one of my favorites to go to in the realm of atmospheric melodic death metal with some slight black metal aspects. And I'm talking about the Canadian band Atavistia, which is, the reason why I'm here today is basically to tell you that they are awesome. But why are they awesome? Well, it partially has to do with the fact that I'm a huge Wintersun fan. And like most of us know, Wintersun is not well known for releasing music on a regular basis. I mean, don't get me wrong, I adore and absolutely devour their records still today. Even if it's only 3 of them in their nearly 20 years of existence, which is like a fact that is annoying me quite a lot, like as many of you out there. I'm definitely sure about that. And a few years back I stumbled upon this band named Atavistia while I was searching for something that was at least in the same realm, in the same atmospheric, complex, structured melodic death metal genre. And don't get me wrong, I listened to many different genres, but there was, at least at that point, there was nothing similar to Wintersun. There was always like something, they have certain aspects like Wintersun, or they are good, but not as good as Wintersun. And so it happened that, I stumbled across Atavistia and their first record that came out in 2017, I think, if I remember correctly. It's called One Within the Sun. Again, I mean, the name on its own screams Wintersun, to be fair. And I really enjoyed the record. I found it quite pleasant to see that one guy at that point, because Atavistia was created as a one-man project at the time. The great Matthias Cipolla, as vocalist and guitarist, basically recorded this on his own. And the record itself is like basically a statement that he, at that point, and still is, a huge Wintersun fan and likes those gigantic orchestrations and really complex structured atmospheres, like similar like bands than Dimmu Borgir or Ensiferum or Wintersun again, or even some, well, let's say less known bands like Xanthocroid, which is also in the same realm. And as far as I remember reading, he's also a big fan of them, and one can really tell that he put a lot of effort into that particular first record. So shortly, well, a few years at least after that, he decided to, which is in my opinion the best choice he made at the point, was to form a band, invite other musicians into Atavistia, because I myself am a musician. I play guitar. I try to record, only recently though, I try to record my own music, and I know it's quite a hassle if you have to do everything on your own, and it takes a toll out of you. I mean, being a musician and trying to write your music, and sometimes you have these blockades where you don't know where to go to. So it is, at least inspirational wise, it is way easier if you are more than one guy, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he wanted to form or rearrange Atavistia as a full-term band and not only a one-man project, which is the best choice he made. And so after the first record, One Within the Sun, 3 years later, in that famous year of 2020 where shit broke loose worldwide, they released The Winter Way. And The Winter Way was obviously better in many terms as the first record, because it was way better produced. There was more complexity, there was more depth in general in all aspects, if it's bass wise or the drums and guitars and the whole wall of sound in the background that's basically hitting you in the face, which is obviously understandable. I mean, considering that the first record was his own thing where he did all the instruments. But for this record, then he invited Max Sepulveda on drums. We had Dalton Meaden on guitars and Dwayne Murray on the bass, and they are still in the band and they are still doing great. So The Winter Way was really another exclamation mark on how can we do an homage to one of our favorite bands, which is Wintersun, and their lead guitarist, or at least at that point he was already the lead singer, and he dropped the guitar, Jari Mainpää, which is the main head, the front man of Wintersun. And again, I mean, The Winter Way, you just go through the songs and you definitely feel the Wintersun influence is there. And yet I think that on The Winter Way, and that's one of the reasons why The Winter Way was on my top records of that year, first of all because I'm a fanboy by now. I mean, it's pretty obvious, otherwise we would not be here listening to me rambling about why you should all listen to Atavistia, but it is pretty obvious. It's a young and motivated band who really do a well job creating their own music. But the thing is, as usual, if you put out a record like that, like for example The Winter Way, reactions were, as far as I know, pretty good, but then again, haters gonna hate. They will compare Atavistia to Wintersun and just say it's a copycat, a cheap copycat, and nothing can replace or nothing is as good as Wintersun. And that's why I was going to say that's not necessarily true, because the main reason why Atavistia is there, yes, it is because of this massive influence through Wintersun, but they release music, a fact that Wintersun is not doing as well, as we all know. And I think The Winter Way has really the feel, yes, has the wall of sound similar to, and especially on certain songs, it's pretty clear where they got their influence from. Even you can name the songs that sound very similar, and yet you hear also that they are trying at least to get away from this statement and put more energy and more character, like to make sure that, okay, these are our songs, even though if we sound like Wintersun, and they say it out loud, and they even did a shirt a while back, which I thought was hilarious and was really a statement for them as a fanboy themselves. They basically released a shirt where they just written on the back, "We know," we know that, and the message was clear, we know that we sound like Winter Sun, but we don't give a shit. And I find that great in all terms and hilarious at the same time. And yeah, I mean, that's only a shirt, and they posted several posts also. They're quite busy on social media, as well as Matt Cipolla, who is pretty busy on Twitch nowadays as well, or at least he's trying to. And I personally can only tell you that those of you out there who are Winter Sun fans and cannot wait for another record, you basically should all be listening to Atavistia on a level where you can accept that there's a band out there that sounds pretty similar, but they write their own music. And I think that's always a big plus in my mind. And you cannot just call them a copycat. I think that's too harsh, and that's not the reality entirely. On the other hand, some of you might think, because again, as I said, we've did some of these uncovered episodes where we try to focus on bands and the band's history. Atavistia is a pretty young band. They've been there for what, maybe 5 years in total, and they will be releasing their third record this year in 2023, which I'm pretty hyped about, to be fair. And I mean, some of you might think, but why would you talk about such small band? First of all, super underground. And I can't talk much about Atavistia, but I can tell you this. I mean, when we got the message beginning of the year that they will be releasing their at least highly anticipated record by their fans, that we will be getting it in April, and it's called Cosmic Warfare. We've been teased several times that something is coming. Nothing was official, but we all knew that the day would come where they would announce something new. And yes, I'm a fanboy, guys, as you can tell. I'm hyped as fuck, man. I mean, I heard just a small teaser, as we all did, and the announcement video, but that sounds promising, and I think we all know that this record will at least give them their respect I think they deserve. Will make them stand out, I think, out of the melodic death metal genre, because it's too easy to put them in this particular drawer where, oh, it's basically melodic death metal like many other bands. No, that's not true. We all know it, at least the fans. And you who are listening now, you should know it by now. I'm pretty hyped about it, and yeah, I mean, the cover art is speaking its own story. I mean, Cosmic Warfare, and then this amazing cover that I already forgot the artist's name. Never mind, I'll post it. No worries. And I'm super hyped, and I know that they will be doing quite a lot of promo stuff until the release. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I mean, what can you expect of Atavistia? And that's an interesting thing in my point of view. I think Atavistia will no doubt be at least as good, because they are already good. They will be up there, maybe compared, yeah, definitely compared to Winter Sun, but they will be, in my opinion, they will be better as Winter Sun, because Winter Sun is, I wouldn't say slowly fading out, but I mean, let's be realistic here. We've been waiting for quite a while for some music, and we have no clue when there's something new. And I will not say you should listen to Atavistia just to cut short the time while waiting for Winter Sun to do something. But basically, listen to Atavistia and give those guys a chance, because it's really worth the listen, and it's really worth seeing and hearing what they've been doing. There has been a lot of effort going into these songs. I'm not sure about the new songs, but I can tell you already it will be amazing. Okay, there's no doubt about it. We know what they do, and we know that they will deliver. Now, what I am looking for is hopefully, who knows, hopefully a Europe tour, because yes, we are based in Luxembourg, but I would definitely at one point I will be going to Canada. That's pretty obvious, and I will definitely be going to an Atavistia show. That will be a must, I would say. Same for their future. So what will be Atavistia's next goal? I mean, their goal now, at least to me, is pretty clear. They've been constantly evolving. If we compare One Within the Sun with their second record, The Winter Way, and now the following record, which I have only heard like small pieces of it, and even though it's just like a few seconds long, and that one playthrough that Matthias did while streaming, wow, I'm 100% sure that it will only go up at that point. And Atavistia has a bright future ahead of them. I'm convinced about it, and I will basically tell you this as a fanboy: go now. Stop listening to me, because I talk in circles anyway, and go and listen to Atavistia. Start from the bottom, start from One Within the Sun. Work your way up to their second record, and yeah, stay tuned for April, because that's when Cosmic Warfare is dropping, and I'm convinced that it will end up on my best of 2023. That's for sure. And without further ado, I would say thank you very much for listening. I hope that this was brief and short enough for some of you to listen to through the whole thing. So there will be more coming in the year. There will be hopefully also interviews with more international bands. We did a lot of interviews in our native tongue. Again, I'm super sorry for those who don't understand it. We'll try to make it up for you with some social media posts and whatsoever. But in the meantime, have a good one. Thank you for listening, and see you guys soon. Cheers, guys.